Hey, this is Dara, as in I dare you to speak with confidence. And today's tip is how you can speak with confidence to absolutely anyone. I hope you're ready. Let's do it. Okay, let's jump right in because I am so excited for this content. As a former shy wallflower, I got to tell you, there was pretty much not too many people, even in my family, that I would feel confident speaking to, especially when it was a bigger group. The bigger, the more introverted and more of a wallflower I became. So today I'm excited to give you real life practical tips to help you be able to speak to absolutely anyone, whether this is a coworker or a family member who maybe cut you off sometimes, or even a more prestigious person that you get a little nervous around. So here we go. I want you to just embrace these tips. You don't have to do it by today, but I guarantee if you follow these, it will work. So the first is we're going to get into our body language. And I want you to forget the phrase, fake it till you make it, because I believe in feel it until you can make it. So I don't want you to fake anything. I want you to feel it. And the way we feel confident is by becoming confident in our body language. And it literally will change the way your body and your cells respond to what's happening externally. Okay, so here's what I mean. We all have heard how to have a straight spine and great posture, but are you doing it? So if you tuck your navel in just a little bit, and that'll help straighten your lower back, drop the shoulders down and back, lift the chin just so it's parallel. And even whether you're seated or standing, this is important to practice. So the back of your entire spine is tall and straight, and you can imagine a thread pulling up the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Look, posture is so important. I do a lot of body work. I've taught martial arts for many years, and I also teach yoga. And it's a little bug on me, guys. The way we approach a conversation or walk into a meeting or walk onto a stage is really important because people will judge us in those first 7 seconds of how we look. And if we appear confident, they're going to believe it, but I want you to believe it. So by changing your posture, changes the way you feel about yourself because you want to be seen. Confident people take up space. You want to be heard, so you're opening your diaphragm, so you speak down from the bottom of your belly, not up into the throat and in a little nasally voice. So seen and heard is coming from your posture itself. You are telling the world that I know my stuff, listen to me, and I'm ready to take charge in this situation. Now, I know that we get relaxed and we want to just kind of sit like this. But if you do, you are going to change the way you speak because it will change your airway. It'll constrict it a little bit. It'll also make you feel that you're not so sure, you're a little bit more slumpish. So play with the posture a little bit because this will help you. Everybody on the planet Earth is a visual creature. We judge people based on the way they walk into a room, the way they use their voice, the hand gestures they use, or whether or not they have no hand gestures because they're fidgeting or hiding their hands, will give us the impression of whether or not they're confident. And as someone who really struggled to have confidence speaking, I first started with my posture. And I'm going to tell you later in one of our tips today, because we have 3, the third tip is not so much about what you say, but it's also on how you hold yourself and what you do with that. Because people, as they judge you and are looking at you of, do you know what you're talking about? Are you someone who I should trust or believe? The way you carry yourself, even before you say one word, will be the most important thing. So posture is going to not only help you feel confident from the inside out, and help you feel that you're capable and ready for anything because you're more alert, you're more engaged in the conversation, you're ready to jump in. But it tells others that you're someone who needs to be respected and listened to. So play with your posture. This is important. Okay, tip number 2 has nothing to do with posture. It's preparing and knowing your stuff. It's very hard to walk into any situation, socially or a corporate meeting, if you have no clue what the environment is or what you're walking into, or do you know your stuff? So I want you to be more prepared than other people. So know your stuff. If you don't know what you're walking into, if you don't know the elements that they're going to talk about, then that's okay. You can hang out and kind of listen and get the gist of it. But if you're unprepared, what'll happen is it puts you at a disadvantage right from the start. Because if you know they're having a meeting about such and such topic, and you didn't have time to prepare for that topic, it's going to be easy for someone to ask a difficult question of you or throw you off guard with a different comment. And what you're doing is now giving away your power. And it's very hard to engage with anyone if you have no leverage in the conversation. So when I say know your stuff, I want you to go the next level. Don't just know the superficial facts of whatever everybody's talking about, but see if you can go above and beyond. And if you have time to prepare for it, especially if it's a work meeting, do so. Prepare by going a little bit deeper. So you know some of the counter arguments, know several layers of the discussion, know something a little bit more about it than most people generally talk about it, if you can. Because it feels so good when somebody throws a question your way or tries to stump you or throw you off guard or challenge you and you are prepared. That confidence, because you are prepared, you put the time in ahead of time, gives you the ability to speak fluently on the topic and not worry about it. So display that you know what you know because you took time to prepare. You know, early when I was learning how to be a speaker, I remember going to Toastmasters. And because when you're first learning to speak, it could be a little nerve wracking. You get a little nervous. But one of the things that helped me overcome my nerves beyond body language, right? I remember standing like this in the mirror before my time, would be I would over prepare my speech so much so that I didn't need notes. I never used notes or slides. I didn't like that stuff. I wanted to be able to speak from the heart. And when you're over prepared, you can do that. But what I also did that other speakers weren't doing was to prepare myself for hecklers or naysayers or people that disagreed with me in the audience. Now, Toastmasters is such a loving group that they don't always do that. They're not going to make it hard for you. But in other environments, they can and will. Because when I am not sure of my stuff and now somebody challenges me, well, now that totally throws me off guard and I'm not prepared at all. But if I know my stuff thoroughly, that if somebody challenges me and says, I disagree with you, or I don't understand that point, can you elaborate further? Or I have a question, I'm not worried about it. I know I can handle it. And there's a certain confidence that comes from that. So take advantage of this. Practice is really good preparation. Even professional speakers who've been giving their speeches for years and years should still prepare their speech. I know I do. This way it gives me the confidence to come at it at a different angle, say it differently, maybe alter my story or humorous points just enough so it's fresh in case somebody's heard me speak before. It doesn't matter if you've given the speech 100 times or told that story 100 times. Try to find a way to liven it up a little bit. And the more you practice it, the easier that can happen. Keeps your content fresh and relevant and gets others interested in you a little bit more. Okay, before we get to tip 3, I want to remind you to smash that subscribe button and take a peek below at DaraConnollyCLUB, where you'll get tons of videos on expert content on how to speak with confidence, get on stage, professional speaking, TEDx, you name it. Just check out the club. It's my inner circle and you do not want to miss it. Okay, tip 3. I've been coming at you fast with these because I want to keep you awake and ready to go. But tip 3 is let silence stand. Well, what the heck does that have to do with speaking with confidence to any person on the planet? Well, here's exactly why. So many times in a social setting or in a personal environment you can think of, people are afraid to have silence. And so what do? They fill it with gibberish or nervous chatter, and it takes away your power. So if you want to speak with more confidence to someone, listen if you don't know what to say, really take in what they're saying, or just let there be silence. There's nothing wrong with having that pause in the conversation. A lot of times I'll see this happen. Somebody will be, especially on stage, somebody will be telling a story and maybe the audience reacts. They gasp or they cry or they laugh or they clap. And what does the speaker do? They keep going and they train wreck that entire audience connection that just happened and they speak over themselves. When if you hold that silence for just a moment and take in the reaction of the other person, that's really powerful. That's a deeper way to connect with your audience. But what if the audience is just one and you're on a phone call or you're speaking to someone on Zoom or in person? And it kind of gets that lull where I don't know what to say. I don't know what they're going to say. Just sit with it for a few seconds. It's okay. If we fill it unnecessarily, it's almost like the first person who talks is the person who's less confident. That's actually true in negotiations, but outside of negotiations, it's similar to that as well. Stay silent, just hold the smile, or just kind of listen and let the other person have a chance to jump in if you feel that they have more to share. Hold your tongue for just a few seconds and let the other person lean in more to what you're going to say next. Practice these tips, right? We talked about our posture to show we're confident. We talked about being prepared of what we're going to speak. And lastly, about holding the silence. You are going to engage and captivate the person you're speaking with. There's so many more. This is just like a little taste, just 3. I have a lot more if you smash that DaraConnollyCLUB button below and check out what's in there, because each week I drop a new video with other experts around the country on how you can be a more effective communicator and speaker. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to stay tuned and check out my next one, which is how to speak on stage. Or there's other videos that I want you to, there's a new one I am about to bring to you, which is how to speak professionally in a meeting. So stay tuned and have a peek for that one. I can't wait to tell you more. Be sure to reach out to me or I'll see you in the club. Until then, you are amazing.